Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tabletopia's stream of Northgard, Uncharted Lands. I'm here with the designer, Adrian Dinu. How are you doing, Adrian?
Hello, I'm here. I'm fine. Very well. Thank you.
Have you been busy during UK Games Expo?
Yes, of course. I was busy watching different games, played by different people. So it
Yes.
was very good.
Yep. You
I
got to
could
see.
watch them play, and
Yeah.
I could see them having the experience, having fun. It's always very good.
You jumped in for a couple of the Northgard games yourself.
Yes, exactly. Yes, I was
Oh,
watching, explaining a little bit the rules, helping them
taking a
out,
few notes
taking
and
some statistics, notes. Yeah, sure.
yes, yes. So you get free play testers. That's good.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, perfect. And so Northgard is currently on Kickstarter. It's doing really well, by the way. What I'm seeing is you're almost at 300,000 euro out of your 40,000 goal. So congratulations.
Thank you.
It's
We are happy really with the evolution of Kickstarter. Yes,
absolutely
it's my
it.
first Kickstarter, so I don't have a lot of
Wow.
experience. But I'm also discovering a lot of things
Yeah,
around this Kickstarter. But it's quite
absolutely.
good. I
Oh,
think
that
also
yeah.
the company, the agency is happy with the evolution so far. Yeah,
Oh, that's brilliant. So this isn't your first design? I know you've made a couple of games before, right?
that's true. Yes, I have published games
Mm-hmm.
already three. This is would be the fourth one.
Yep.
And I have also tons of prototypes, of course,
Oh, cool. Awesome.
placements in various companies and so on. Yeah,
Oh, that's perfect.
waiting for the wake up.
Yeah, yeah, of course. But Northgard is your first Kickstarter game, so it's done really well, and I think you should be proud of it. And so, how many more days has it got? It's got 9 more days to go.
Yes, nine more days. Yes,
That's a
uh,
lot of
they have
time.
chosen to do a long campaign.
Hmm.
It's not typical to be so long, I guess, as I understood.
Yep.
But yeah, it's so far it's good, doing good. It has a good average per day, so we are quite happy also with this rhythm.
Yep. And there's
Soon it will
yep.
be over. It will be, as I understood, yeah, interesting to watch the last days, the last few days, because there can be a lot of movements too. Yeah,
Big spike. Yeah, I've run a Kickstarter myself, and you see that giant spike in the last 48 hours.
yeah,
Is So you've got the two editions of the game. Today we're going to be looking at everything that comes in the Warrior Edition, which is the standard edition, plus any stretch goals that may have been unlocked. But there's also the War Chief Edition, the Collector's Edition. It's got some painted minis. That looks really cool. There's a lot of special stuff in that I can see.
so the miniatures are there.
Yep.
I'm not aware of if they will be
Oh,
painted. I
not.
don't
Oh,
think they will
I'm
be
sorry. There's
painted.
some example painted ones, but they look. Wow, they're pretty though.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So war chiefs, so they are like a special module,
Yep.
and that makes the distinction between the warrior and the war chief edition.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So these war chiefs they come with their own rules,
Yep.
with their figurines, and then on top of that, there are some other components
Mm.
like these modular boards that you can see that people are talking about. So this practically there are two sides.
Yep.
You play first of all with the color, that's
Yep.
one side of it, and the clan gives you the other side, and it also comes with a war chip and an additional card that
Yep.
will be added. So,
Wow.
and
Cool.
in addition to that, we will have also some turn tracker that's in
Yep.
the war chip edition.
I did see that. That's really cool. And there's also a little expansion, Creatures of Northgard, as well.
So the expansion of the creatures will be included in both editions.
Cool.
So warriors and the war chiefs. That was
Wow.
clearly said right from the start that this will be included in both.
Oh, yep.
So
Free with
whenever we
each
add
warrior and war chief pledge.
exactly, whenever we add a new creature,
Hmm.
it will come automatically with the card of it, and the figurine of it. So, but
Wow.
in fact, there are most of them. There are two times. So this
Yep.
means 2 cards plus 2 figures.
Wow,
Figurine.
there's a lot of game here. And have you? I assume it's designed to be very replayable. You've got all these modular things, the modular map, and just because it's a deck builder as well, I can imagine that a lot of replayability and a lot of variety can come out of it, right?
Yes. So my vision was that at the start you could really play with a vanilla version that you just play with the base, you introduce people around and they come, okay, they see the easiest variant, let's say, where you don't have all the rules. So you will not play with Warchi, for instance, the first time where you introduce people around,
Yep.
And with the modules, different modules, you just enable different layers of complexity.
Yep.
So if you, at the end, you will have all of them enabled, and we have even more things that will come out. So once you will have all these modules and you enable all these layers, it will become a 4X with a lot of depth, experience, and so on. But you can also play the simple one.
Cool. Well, I'm really excited to get into this. It's a 4X meets deck builder, so I'm really excited to just figure out how this goes. So, Adrian, we've got the game open here. Would you like to teach us how to play? And then immediately after, everyone will be able to join us in our Discord server where we'll match you up so you can play some games together. So, Adrian, please show me what we're looking at here.
Yes. So I will open my screen to make it full screen. Let's see if it works. The full screen. Yes, it's okay. So do you see my hand moving?
It is. I can see you.
Okay, good. Very good. So we are here. The setup has 3 clans by default. So that's the setup that we have chosen to implement firstly on the Tabletopia. But you have to imagine that up to now, so we have unlocked 2 new clans plus the 5 clans from the base game. So we are at 7 clans. So you should imagine that we have 7 different, let's say, factions like this. They are clans. Yeah, you have to see them like this, which come all of them come with this. Specific watch cards, player cards, let's say. Plus, they come with these cards that you see here. They come base card, which is this one.
Yep.
So if I double click, is it, or I don't know?
Yeah.
It's only me.
Okay, that's only for you, but I'm looking at them.
These 2 other cards, they are.
Sorry. Could you explain these 2 cards again? You cut out just a little bit.
Okay, so I'm just illustrating here for the Raven clan. So
yes.
Each clan comes with this clan board, let's say clan play. Plus, by default, you have a base card. This is the base card of the clan that will start in the deck of each player. Start of the game. Okay, and then we have what we call upgrade cards. Are these 2 cards that come in the Warrior Edition, plus a 3rd upgrade card that comes only with the War Chief Edition. Okay,
cool.
Which represents the card of the War Chief, let's say. Okay, but these cards, they will be added by the player themselves in the deck while playing the game. Okay, they start with this base card, but the others will be added as they play.
Got it.
Good. So, and of course, the color side of it is, for instance, this one everybody has this one, which represents the turn summary, and it comes with a color that illustrates which color you are. Of course, most of the time it will be very clear who's what because you have lots of units in on your side with your color. So, but it was just to have a little bit of plus there to show that that's a clan, your clan color. Okay, so as you said, it's a deck builder, but it's a different type of deck builder. It's not that type of game where you add 30 cards in your deck, you play a lot of them each turn and so on. You could play quite some cards during the turn. I saw sometimes people playing even 10 cards during a turn, so you can play a lot, yes. But it won't be a very big deck at the end of the game. Okay, I'm just saying it's right from the start so that people understand it's a different kind. Some people prefer to call it like a card-driven game. Okay, no, not a problem. But you can also call it a deck builder because you really have your own deck that you start with, to which you add new cards. You always shuffle the cards and bring them to the discard pile after your turn is over, and so on and so forth. So everybody, all players, start with the 6 cards from the default cards. I have to take them to draw them all.
Yep,
I've
picked up mine.
Flip them. So I will flip them. Let's say.
Yep.
Flip them all. Okay. So moving them a little bit around.
Yep.
Taking only one at a time.
Oh, you want to take one? There you go.
One. Draw. I can even draw 6.
Oh,
I don't know. Draw 6. Put them in the end. Okay, no problem. I will just put them on the table. Good. So these are the 6 default cards that all players start with. And on top of this card, I mean, in addition to these 6 cards, they will add also their special clan cards.
Yep.
Okay, so everybody has also this. So the starting deck starts with these 7 cards. Everybody has 6 base cards, the same cards, plus this, which is special. Each one has its own clan card. It's always written Wolf clan or Goat clan or whatever clan on it. Okay, so let's see what we have in these cards. But first, I will rather explain a little bit what's the structure of the turn, and then I will come back to the actions. Okay. So in fact, this game plays in 7 turns. We call them. I heard someone call them rounds, but our vision for the round is a little bit different, so it might change the turns there. But let's see the whole turn is, when you pick the cards in your hand, you draw the cards. They play them one by one. Each player plays one at a time, with some exception that I will say soon. And each player goes on and on until it comes back to you, and you play again another card, or you do another action, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha.
This means there's not a lot of downtime, in fact, because you quickly play your turns, and everybody can do an action, or even play more cards. We will see that soon, how it will go around.
Cool.
And until the player passes their turn. So once the player passes the turn, they will finish their turn. They will pick up a new development card, we call that. So you will see that coming here from this pile. But for that, I will explain quickly soon. But I'm just explaining the structure of the turn. And once they have finished their turn, they cannot do anything anymore on the board. So
they get passed when it comes back to them.
Yeah, this means it's a tension, because in the beginning of the turn you will see some development cards, as many as the number of players. So let's say if we would play with 3 players, these cards, they will be available here for everybody. So in the beginning of the turn, they will see these cards. So now, depending on their strategy, they will stop earlier or not, But let's say I'm very interested in taking a specific card, this one, let's say. At that moment, I have to judge each turn when it comes to me, each round, let's say, when it comes to me, to my play. Do I sacrifice the rest of the actions that I have in hand, to go and quickly fetch that card, so practically finish my turn and taking that card that I'm interested in for my strategy, or do I play additional cards from my hand?
So does that mean that these cards are out for everyone to see, and when you pass, you get to take one of them?
Exactly.
Right.
But when you pass your turn, this means you will discard all your actions left in hand.
Yep.
And you will practically put all the cards on the discard pile.
Yep.
And this means it's over for you. You cannot do any more action, but only react to some fights on the board. We will see that soon.
Right.
But it's important to understand that each round when it counts to you, you have this dilemma. Do I stop now, quickly fetch my card, or do I just continue risking that someone else will take that card?
Yep.
But it's fine for me. I can wait and I'm taking this risk, and I can play one more card.
Gotcha.
So that's the tension is there, right there. So and at the end, it's at the end of the turn, we have some mostly automatic phases of the turn where we have to make the harvest. The harvest phase just gives you the resources from the board. And the winter phase is like the upkeeping phase, gotcha, where you have to pay some winter costs, okay? Because we have to feed these the warriors, the clan members, the units that we have on the board. So effectively, we will explain that soon. But just for everybody to understand a little bit the structure of the turn. So mostly the action is fragmented to play a card. Everybody plays, comes to you over and over again, and then when everybody stops, then they will go to harvest and winter phase and end of the turn finally.
Great.
Which go quite quickly, these ones.
Cool.
Okay, so let's now focus on the play.
Yep.
So I have set up already some tiles here on the board just to have an easier time when it comes to explanation. But normally the game starts with only one tile, which is this one. And then there is a special setup phase where the players will add one at a time a tile and places 3 units on that.
Okay. So
this means at the end of the setup phase, we'll have already 6 Vikings ready to take over the world.
Got it.
So, okay, so that would be really just short mention about the setup. So just to have to understand that now what's on the table is just an example to have some some ease with presentation of
course.
Rules. Okay, good. So in the beginning of the turn, we always pick up 4 cards in our hand. Plus, there are some modifiers.
Okay.
But let's not mention too early. So it's 4 cards by default, but you could potentially draw more.
So we draw 4 cards from the deck, is that right?
From our deck.
That's right.
Deck, yes. Yeah. And now let's see what we can play at our turn. So very easy actions, like for instance, recruit. Yep. So I'm just recruiting. This means I add as many units, my own units, next to units that I already have on the board. Okay. So if I'm red, I will add 1 new unit, and I will place it either here next to this, or either this here. I cannot place it somewhere else unless the card specified. You will see that you will have many varieties in the cards that allow you to do crazy things.
Yeah.
But by default, you do just this.
Okay.
Now, if you would have more, sometimes you have more recruits, like you have 2, for instance, or it's a variation or the dependency card that depends on some specific icons on the board or something like this. Yeah. Then you can recruit multiple units, and you have to. You can split them unless the card says it. You for instance, if you have 2 recruits, you can add 1 here and 1 here.
Yep. Okay.
But it's not. You could also add them in both in the same territory. Okay. Next, let's see exploration. This is another action that we can play.
Yep.
So this represents the exploration of the board. So you can see here we have the concept of territories. So I'm here in a territory. As soon as you have placed Vikings on the board, they are located in a territory. Now the territory can be closed or not. So in this example, I have two open territories. So these 3 Vikings are in this open territory, which is defined by the frontier for the borders, and these ones are also in an open territory. So this means I could explore either here on this side, or I can explore here from this territory, or here by default. So I have 3 possibilities of adding a new tile. I cannot explore somewhere where I'm not.
Sure. That makes sense.
Okay, so I'm just taking the first tile that I have here.
So you draw from the top.
I'm turning it from the top. I'm flipping it, and I can place it. I can turn it around. It's with E or Q. Okay. I can turn it around how I feel, how it's the best for me. Now it's a special thing when I close a territory, then immediately I get a reward.
Okay.
So let's say here I'm putting it like this. I have closed this territory of 3 tiles.
Yes.
And it means it gives me 3 fame points.
Okay.
Now you see in the beginning of the game, you will start with some resources, but you have no fame. The fame is this crown here symbol.
Yep.
So whenever you gain fame, you increase this crown symbol there. Okay, so you get a reward of how many tiles the new closed territory is formed with. Good. So that is the exploration. Okay. Now there is a rule. It's the exploration is quite simple, in fact, but there is a tiny rule that you cannot leave borders that are not leading anywhere. I don't know if I can give you quickly an example. Let's say I would have this one here. Yep. And I cannot put this tile here, because this would mean I have a border that leads nowhere. It just stops in the middle of the map. You can see that here. So I have to turn it so much so that it could form a territory. Or not breaking this rule of leaving some borders leading nowhere.
Got it.
Okay, so that's a tiny rule there.
That makes sense.
And I get the fame point only if I'm present there.
Right.
So if I close other territories from other people, they will not get fame, of course.
Will other players get fame if you close a territory they are in?
No.
Okay.
Only the active player.
Cool.
Gains fame.
Cool.
If he's present.
Excellent.
Okay. Next on is the build action.
Yep.
So the build action is this card. You have the possibility of building all these buildings that you have on the left side. So you have 5 small buildings and 3 large buildings. So as you can see on the board, you have spots for the large buildings, and you have spots for the small buildings. Okay.
So that's a big building, and that's a small building.
Exactly. Yep. So you could simply, when you build, you use that card. You have to spend the wood. Supposedly you have the wood, of course. And now, if you pay 1 wood, you can place a small building. If you pay 3 wood, you can place a large building.
Got it.
3 wood, the cost for the large. Good. So you simply take the building and you place it somewhere where you are again, where you are present. So a small exception is for the lore. That's the carved stone. So this is special. I have to pick one. Opla. Okay. Yeah. This one goes only on the top of the spot, the building spot, the small building spot that has this icon there. You can see. I cannot build that here. I mean, here where I just built the other one. I will have to be, of course, present, but it cannot be built, but only on this symbol here.
Got it.
Okay, this one can be covered by any other building, small building, but the carved stone can be only built on this one. So
Got
that's the small restriction right there. Okay, so the buildings, they have different effects on the game. You know, they are the small buildings that give you resources, or they give you more recruitment possibilities. You will faster recruit Vikings, or you have defensive buildings where, you know, when a combat takes place, you do more casualties to your opponent. The large buildings, I'm just going quickly through them. The large buildings, you have this one gives you the King's Altar gives you 3 fame points in the harvest phase. This one is the forge. This allows you to draw 1 more card for each forge that you have on the board.
Okay.
In the beginning of the turn.
Yep.
This means not drawing 4, but drawing 5 if you have 1 forge, or even more if you have multiple forges.
Got it. Yep.
So it's quite powerful. And this one is the fortress. It gives defense points. So it's a defensive building where, in fact, it allows you to be more mobile on the board, because having a fixed defense leaves you with Vikings more, leaves more freedom to Vikings to move around. So that's a defensive building. Okay, so we have seen the build. Now let's focus on the last basic action.
Yep.
That is move.
Yep.
So move. Here the rule is like this. You see on the card you have move and a little one. So this you have always a number from 1 to 4, up to 4.
Okay.
4 is quite exceptional, but okay. But everybody starts with just a basic move.
Yep.
So it tells you how many borders you can cross with groups of Vikings.
Okay.
Okay, let's focus on this now. So move 1 means I can take from a territory as many as I want, as many Vikings as I want, and move them to an adjacent territory through a normal border. Okay, that's the move 1. But again, it's not limiting at all the number of units. It limits the number of borders I cross. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's move 1. You will see that on the board. I don't know if we have a mountain already. Too bad. I don't have an example with a mountain.
That's okay.
Let's pick some tiles here quickly. Pick some 5 tiles just to have some examples quickly. Okay, so you can see here there is a mountain. So in order to cross that mountain, so it's always symbolized with the continuous line.
Oh, yep.
Not interrupted.
Yep.
So that one it symbolizes the fact that it's not easy to cross.
Yep.
It requires 2 moves to cross.
Okay.
Which means effectively in the beginning of the game, you cannot cross this because you have just move 1. Unless you are Wolf, and the Wolf has a special ability with the base card.
Oh, okay.
But,
yes.
But I'm just saying that, this requires 2 moves to cross, and it always eats up these 2 moves from your card, whatever you have. You have 3 moves, that this one will require 2 moves to move.
Yep.
And then you will leave out with 1 additional move.
Yep.
Now, when you have multiple moves, you can group them as you want. Let's say I have now 3 moves to do. I can make various moves. I can do 1, 2, and now let's say I will move like this.
Yep. Okay.
So I have 3 times crossed a border, and I could group my units as I wanted.
That makes sense.
Okay. So this gives you a whole lot of possibilities and options to group them and to start different combats also. So when you are with multiple colors, so Vikings for different clans in the same territory, it triggers a fight. But you will do the fight, the combat, only after you have done all the moves.
Okay.
So I cannot do the combat and then move something else. No.
Yep.
I have to finish all the moves from that particular card, execute the combat, and then eventually play some other cards. We'll see soon what's the possibility. But you have to finish all the moves from a card.
Okay.
So right now, we are in the combat situation. So I will quickly exemplify this combat situation. So I have 3 units, okay, and my opponent has 2 units.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first of all, as the attacker, I will have to say, if I add to the fight more food, which symbolizes the fact that your warriors are well fed.
Okay.
You know, some people they suggested that they transformed the apple into that drink.
Right.
I
like
have
cider or ale.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ale or something. Anyway, I forgot the name. It's funny. Anyway, the idea is that you would add some more force.
Yep.
But you cannot add as many as you can. You have the limitation of how many units you have on that territory.
So you
if
can
I have
add 1
3,
per unit.
I can add I can add up to the number of units as much food, effectively boosting my combat potential.
And that would make your combat 6 in this example.
So in this example, I will have for each warrior gives me 1 point,
Yep.
1 combat point. Then with each additional food that I spend, it makes +1, +1, +1 for each food. And the defensor, he gets to do the same. So then they decide, okay, now I want to also pay 2 food, for instance, to make them stronger. Okay, so let's say in this situation, I'm just adding 1 food and my opponent adds 2, let's say. So I'm here with 1, 2, 3 plus 1 food. In the analog game, it's very good because you really can add the token and to symbolize exactly how many points you have. But here you cannot see that. You have always to remind yourself, okay, I have 4. And my opponent also has 4 because 2 plus 2 food, let's say it's 4.
Gotcha.
Now on the top of that, starting with the attacker, everybody has to roll the dice. So you have, as a player, you have only 1 die.
Yep.
So you just roll it. And now what comes from this, it's 2 symbols possible, 2 possibilities. You have either an X, which is just 1 additional combat point.
Yep.
Which adds to your total that you have so far. Or you may have some casualties. These symbols, the skull. So this adds casualties.
Yep.
So in fact, during a combat, you will add these casualties. You will have 1, 0, 1, 2, sometimes rarely even 3, but it's really rare. Okay, so it's not the losses are not very heavy in this game. So it's about more combat friendly. Let's say it's not that punishing.
Yep.
So you add the total up. So we had in this example we said it was 4 to 4. So now I have 4 plus 1 x 5.
Yep.
Okay, and my and you. So as the opponent,
I would have 6.
You will have 6. So this means I'm losing.
Yep.
But before calculating the points, we have to apply the casualties.
Right.
So we have to remove the casualties.
No.
So 1 on your side, and 1 on my side, and 1 on your side.
Yep.
It's important to make this before you are comparing the combat points, because it may happen sometimes. You see on the dice, you have a value. This one. Yep. You have this face with 2 death symbols and some. The defensive tower also give an additional casualty. So sometimes you have more casualties. You have to first remove them, because in the case when one of the players have no units left, then of course they cannot win.
Yes.
So that's why we do this before calculating and comparing the forces.
That makes sense.
The card point.
Now,
okay, so
how did the... Oh, yes, sorry. Go ahead.
In the case of a tie, in this case, the defender wins.
Yep. Okay.
And once once we see who is retreating, so the loser will retreat in adjacent territories or friendly, that are friendly or neutral. So for instance, I can move this one here, I can move all of them here, or I can move them there where I left from. I can make even a split, effectively giving me some additional move possibilities. Okay, I can split them. But there is a special rule with the mountain, is when you are forced to retreat and you have only mountains, or just you are limited by the edge of the board. In this case, you will lose the units that you cannot retreat. So you cannot retreat through mountain. And you cannot retreat at the edge of the board.
So
in
you
this case,
don't want to get into a fight on the edge.
You will lose. You will remove all the units that were involved in that combat. Okay, so I think that's the quickly said the combat.
Very quickly with combat, how would it work if, say, the defensive building had been placed?
Yes, good question. So during combat, you will see we talk about bonuses in combat. So we can have cards that add additional values, additional combat points. Let's see, this card, for instance, is an upgrade card for me. This one gives me 1 additional X during the combat. And there are some other cards where they give you some other bonuses. 1 or 2, or sometimes a casualty. So you add them before rolling the die. And this is the bonus of the attacker from the cards. And for the defender, you have the buildings. So the buildings are protecting you. So of course, in this case, this fortress would add 2 combat points for the purple player in this case. So in our example before, we would simply add 2 combat points. Now, if you would have, for instance, this tower, defense tower, let's stay there. Okay, this would make to the attacker 1 more casualty. So in our case, it would be not 1 casualty, but 2.
So that basically makes it more dangerous to attack someone when they're in that territory defending.
Exactly.
But
it's not that scary. I mean, it removes you 1 unit. And you will see with the dynamic of the game, it can make a difference when you lose an additional unit sometimes. So you have to watch upon this.
That makes sense.
Okay, so that was the combat. So let's quickly explain now what are these symbols here. So you can see in the clan example, the Wolf Clan example. Here we have this symbol here, this flash, this lightning symbol. Okay, so this means it's a flash card, and it can be played at no cost during the play card action. It can be simply played before or after a normal action. By giving me possibilities of combining the cards. So for instance, I could move first with this card, which is a flash card, and then do the real move. Effectively giving me, in this situation, some interesting combinations of moving my units. But you can also add them after. So you can play as many flash cards as you want, before and or after the normal card.
The regular movement.
But if you play a non-flash card, a regular card, you will only play 1 during a turn. And we have added the possibility that you could also play just 1 flash card, if that is your desire.
Oh, so you can play 1 flash card instead of a regular turn. Right.
Okay. So now what we illustrated, if you can focus now on the actions, we have now illustrated the first possibility of playing cards. Okay. So this will be, in most cases, this will be what you do. Okay. But there are some interesting possibilities that you have, but it's an alternative for playing cards. okay, is you can either wait or replace or remove, and I will explain each of these.
Okay.
But you cannot combine them with playing, okay? If you play, you play.
Yep.
If not, then you will choose any other possibilities from this list. And so this involves cost in lore. So you have realized food is good to feed the people in the winter and to feed before combat. Now the wood would be required for building.
Yep.
Okay, and all for the warming during the winter, especially for the last. You will see when you have 13, 15 units on the table, on the board, it costs also some wood.
Oh yes.
And lore was not explained until now. What's the lore? So this is special for playing with cards, making you draw more, replacing, removing, upgrading cards. So really the lore is there, the power of dealing with your deck, optimize your deck.
Yep.
So, okay, so we have, so the following actions here that you can do are wait. Wait means I just put a card in the active area, because there's the active area is just above the player board.
Yep.
Without playing it. Okay. Sometimes it makes sense because you cannot really play it, or it does not help you.
Yep.
You just put it there. It was a move, but you don't want to move or whatever.
Right.
And you just wait strategically for the others to play to see what they have in mind. So that's just a simple possibilities of waiting.
And so, but how does that work different to playing the card?
You don't action the card simply.
Right.
But of course, if you want to action it, you just play.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You don't.
Sure, that makes sense.
So wait is like I cannot play that card. It's useless for me at this moment. But I just wait.
Gotcha.
To see what the others are doing.
Cool.
Okay. Another possibility would be to replace the card, a card from your hand, because you look for some special combination during your turn. So you will pay one lore, you will put this card in the active area, and you will draw another card from your pile, from your deck.
Gotcha.
Okay. Another possibility is very similar to that, is paying 2 lore, but this time you remove that card, you remove the card from a hand, and you put it out in the box. So you remove it from the game.
Yep.
And because you want to make your deck better, to remove some card, and after that you also draw a new card from your deck.
Okay.
And the third possibility is, again, you put that card in the active area, so you sacrifice it somehow, paying 3 lore to pick another of your clan cards, the upgrade cards. So, as we said, these cards that you have in the beginning, so you have every clan has two additional upgrade cards, plus this one that comes with the warrior, the war chief. Sorry.
Yep.
The war chief edition. Okay. Good. So these are the upgrades, and we said, okay, you have also the possibility to pass.
Yep.
So pass, which means you will discard whatever card you have in hand.
Yep.
If you have steel cards, because sometimes you don't have any card, you simply pass and go finish your turn.
Yep.
But if you have any card, you then discard it. Discard all the cards that you played in the active area. Put them all in the discard pile. And take a development card from those development cards that we said we placed in the beginning.
And do you, at the beginning of the turn, will there be one development card out per player?
Per player.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So at each turn, we get n new development cards and number of players. And at the end of the turn, once they pass, the players pick a card of their choice.
Yep.
And the card goes to their draw pile. So this means it guarantees the fact that you will pick that card in the next turn.
Got it. It goes on top of your draw pile.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And so on and so forth. Now the other players can continue still playing. If they have a nice combination of cards, they can do that. They
Yep.
are still playing, but you are still involved in eventual combats. If there's any fight on the board, of course, you will participate.
Yep.
Again, with defensive, adding food, throwing dice, and so on.
I just have a very quick question about upgrading before we move on.
Yes.
When you pay the 3 to upgrade, you don't replace the old card. You just add one of the new cards to your deck. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. There is a small price that you have to you pay. It means you just use that card.
Yep.
So that you are progressing through your turn.
Yep.
But you don't remove it from the game. It's not like replacing it.
Yep.
It's any card. You just put it there in the active area. Plus you pay the 3 lore.
Yep.
And you draw that upgrade card and you put it in your hand.
In your hand, okay.
Which gives you the possibility of playing it in the next round when it comes again to you.
Yep.
So
you get it straight away. That makes sense.
Exactly. It's in your hand.
Perfect. Just wanted to double check that.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good that you remind me because sometimes I forget to say these little details. Yes. Sorry, about tiny details like this, I forgot to mention something about buildings.
Yeah.
When you build a building, you cannot duplicate the buildings in the same territories. You cannot put twice a defense tower. Let's say. You cannot put twice the same building. So.
Yes, that makes sense.
And when you explore, also another little side note, when you explore, you cannot join two opponents. You cannot trigger a fight with exploration, you know?
Yeah,
Let's say you merge two territories where you cannot merge two territories with opponents on
that makes sense, yeah.
Territory. Okay. Good. So it leaves us with these 2 cards that I left here. I forgot to speak about that. They are the feast cards, which are some kind of jokers.
Okay.
They give you the possibility. They give you a little bit more freedom of playing.
Yeah.
By giving you the possibility to do the basic actions, but only the basic actions. Okay, so recruit or move and everything is at level 1, so nothing special. Just a plain. Someone was saying that this is overpowered, but it's not really. It's just a little bit of freedom that you can play during your round, during your round to make different combinations depending on what you have most on in hand.
And I can imagine it's useful to sort of help you decide what strategy you're going to follow with the game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everybody starts with 2 feast cards.
Yep.
And now all these development cards that we explained at the beginning, they all give you some more interesting stuff. They are always more powerful than the base cards. And one last thing about this, there is a possibility of drawing cards.
Okay.
So we just picked up this card. Just flip it quickly to see what it has. So this would be another basic action possibility. This you see the symbols of drawing cards. So this help you deal with your deck again, drawing more cards from the deck. Sometimes it requires you to discard or put it back on the deck. Just a deck optimization. Let's say you just play by looking up a particular action in your deck, discarding some of them or putting back on the deck or something like this.
Sure.
But that is also an icon that appears on quite some cards. And of course, there are some very, very crazy actions that are very different than all these base cards, like these capture cards. For instance, it really enables you in a flash mode to capture one unit from an opponent.
Cool.
And to put it on your side.
Yep.
Okay. Now let's move forward. So we said. Okay, and last detail is about the first player marker. We have the first player marker somewhere. I don't see it right now. It's over.
Is it? There it is. Yeah.
Okay, this one. So the first player to pass their turn, they pick also this first player. So they become first player in the next round.
Oh,
so
sure.
if I was the first one to pass,
Yep.
I will take this one.
That makes sense.
Okay, good. So everybody has passed, let's say, and now we move on to the harvest phase.
Yep.
And as we said, these following phases are very, very quick, and they are just automatic, let's say, mostly.
Yeah.
So you are harvesting all the territories where you are on.
Yep.
So during the harvest, you gain resources
Yep.
or fame points. Now resources, you gain simply the resources that are in your territories. It's not, you don't have to have them closed or whatever. You have just to have them in your territories. So in this situation, the red player would have 1 wood, 1 food from the silo, the food silo, another wood here.
Yep.
So effectively 2 wood and 1 food.
Got it.
And fame is like this. You can see on the board closed territories. So the fame is only for the closed territories.
Got it.
So for the simple, very tiny territories like this one where the red is here,
Yep.
it's only 1 fame because it's really tiny. It's just 2 tiles.
Sure.
And for all the others, like 3 and up and above,
Yep.
you will gain 2 fame points.
Okay.
So for all these territories that are closed, you gain some fame points, marking you somehow the expansion on the board.
Yep.
Okay. Once you do that, you have to go to the winter phase.
Okay.
In our game here, the winter is like an upkeep phase where you pay you pay a tax, you know, winter costs to feed your people and or to warm them.
Okay.
So you can see on your board, on a player board. So in the winter, you pay the resources that are marked here in the winter cost.
Yep.
So if you have, for instance, 7 to 9 Vikings on the board, you pay 2 food.
Okay.
If you have brought all people on the board, you will pay 4 food and 1 wood.
Got it.
So this means you are really present in a lot of territories. Of course, the upkeep tax will be higher.
Yes. Yes.
And if you are really very, very tiny, 1 to 3, we don't even require you. I believe you will find some apples in the trees. Okay.
Very good.
We don't want to tax someone who's so behind.
Of course.
And if you cannot pay this winter tax, winter cost, then you will discard whatever you can discard. For instance, having to pay 2 food, but you have only 1, you have to pay that food that you have.
Yes.
And then, unfortunately for you, you will have to draw an unrest card, which is displayed here next to developer cards. So this card has 2 things. So you put it on the top of your draw pile, which means you will draw it next turn.
Yep.
It doesn't do anything in your hand. Okay, it just slows down your deck.
Yep.
And you cannot remove it from hand.
Yep.
From your deck. And additionally, you will lose 3 fame points at the end of the game.
Right.
So this means you don't want not to feed your Vikings because they will be very angry at you.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
So with the Unrest card, could I play that as part of the upgrade action? Could I put that into my active area and then do an upgrade? Yeah.
Yes, that's possible.
So
you cannot remove it from the deck, but you can do some discard, wait, replace, all this stuff. Yeah, sure.
That makes sense.
Okay, so last part of the turn is the end of the turn. So check end of the game condition. So now you will check. So there are 2 conditions.
Okay.
To win the game. The first one is if anybody has at this point 3 territories, closed territories, with large buildings.
Right.
So let's see here. We see the purple player. He has 1 closed territory with a large building in it.
Yep.
So this would be 1. And the other players have none here in the moment.
Gotcha.
Okay. But when you have the situation of having 3 at least closed with large building, closed territories with large buildings, then you win, and it's a sudden death. At this point in time, you are the winner.
Oh, you just automatically win.
That's it. It's
Right.
automatic win.
Wow.
Now, if the game goes on and on until the end, and nobody reaches this situation of having 3 closed territories with large buildings, then the fame decides who wins the game. So at the end of the game, the number of fame points define the win, deciding the winner.
Yes.
Now, if 2 players will reach in the same turn this condition of having 3 territories with large buildings, then the fame would decide the tie. You would break the tie in this situation.
Yep.
The fame points.
Got it.
Okay, so these are the 2 possibilities of winning the game. Yes.
So if no one reaches the 3, if nobody reaches the 3 large buildings in closed territories, when do you decide to count the fame points?
So the fame points are just counted at the end of the game.
And the end of the game can
don't count them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because in Tabletopia it's visible.
Yeah.
You can see the points here.
Yeah.
In the analog game, you get some face down tokens.
Right.
That the other people are not seeing. It's a little bit like Small World. Or,
hidden.
Or Puerto Rico or other games like this where you don't show the points.
Gotcha.
I know there are a lot of debates regarding this, but we preferred really to put them face down, so it's not very clear. Okay, he has 60 and the other one 54, and I have to attack this and that. And
that makes sense. Yeah,
it makes a bit kingmaker at the end if you really have to decide based on this. So
that's fair.
But of course, anybody can play their own style. I saw some other people preferring the other way around to have it visible.
Sure.
Up to them. Okay, so that would be in a nutshell. At the end of the turn, there are some special situations. Okay, I forgot to say something. It's not written here.
Okay.
On the player board. You can exchange during the harvest 3 to 1, any 3 resources to 1.
Okay.
But only during the harvest.
Okay.
So we forgot to write it here or down on the tabletop.
That's okay.
So some other people didn't see that.
If anyone gets confused during the game and needs to check something, in Tabletopia, in the bottom left here, you can click this little piece of paper, and that will bring up the PDF of the rules. So people can refer to that if they just need to double check.
Okay, so yes.
Yes. And the other thing just to remember is we also have the special powers of our clan.
Yes. Now, you can see this clan card that you start with in the beginning of the turn. This one will come up a lot during your game. So clearly showing your specificities, influencing the way you play the game, because this card will come quite a lot during the game.
Yep.
So that's why it's called the clan card. All the others are upgrades that are doing something different every time for each player.
Yep. Okay.
In addition to this special power, different player powers, we have also the clan. So the clan power is a passive. It's a passive power.
Yeah.
And each clan has this. You can double click on one of these clan cards.
Yep.
So you can see each clan has its own passive power. So in this way, it's a special one for the wolf, it's a special one for the raven. Each one has their own special way. It's a passive rule. This means you don't need a card. You don't need it just triggers it somehow in different situations.
Mm-hmm.
And you have also the war chief. When you played with the war chief.
Yep.
I didn't explain that, but the war chief is this piece. This one during the fight, it's 2 points, 2 combat points. But it only requires a casualty to die.
Yep.
So it's not 2 casualties, just 1. And when you feed it, it's only one. It counts like one.
Yep.
When you recruit, you can recruit the war chief. If it's not yet on the board, you can
Yep.
simply add it as any other unit.
Yep.
So the specificity is that during the combat, it has 2 points, plus it has its own passive power again.
Yep.
It's something that is owned to this piece. So
Yes.
in this situation, for instance, the war chief power of the wolf clan is, so he's called Egil.
Yes.
If Egil is the attacker in combat, he's worth 3 points, not 2.
Yep.
So,
okay.
yeah, and each war chief has its own specific power.
And if
sorry.
if your war chief gets killed, it goes back to your pool of warriors and can be recruited again.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay.
You simply recruit it back as you would recruit any other unit again.
Fantastic. Well,
It doesn't die really, so it's just very
Yeah.
severely wounded.
yeah. Perfect. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. Is there anything else you need to tell people before they play the game?
So in very rare situation where people would not have any unit on the board, we have, at the end of the turn, we have a special condition called the second chance.
Yep.
You can bring up on the board, on a neutral territory, 3 units of your own.
Okay.
Okay. And in fact, you keep the whole deck exactly as you have it.
Yep.
So this means you have still all the powers that you have, but if you were really knocked off the board, you can come at the end of the turn with 3 units again. You will use your deck exactly as it is.
Great. Well, that's it. So, Adrian, thank you for teaching us. That's great, and I think got a really good understanding of how the game works. And people can also refer to the rules if they need to at any time. You're going to be hanging out in the Discord server, in the Learn and Play channel for about an hour or so, just to help people with rules if they have any questions.
Yes, maybe last word about the creature, because I saw a lot of people about the creatures.
Yeah, please.
Just 2 minutes about that. I will not explain all the rules, but just quickly explaining what's all about these creatures. So this add-on that was unlocked, and everybody has it in any type of box. So whenever you see on the map this symbol, this creature symbol, this means on this tile it will appear a new creature.
Okay.
Okay. Now these creatures come from a specific deck of cards.
Okay.
And you will take the next card from the deck. That creature will come randomly, and these creatures then will move in a specific phase. They have a creature phase just before the harvest.
Oh, yeah.
They have the creature phase, and not only they move around at the smaller pace, let's say during the actions of the players, because they might be triggered from explorations, but also they can be triggered when a player passes. So it can be interesting at one point in time to pass, really to trigger a specific creature that you see appearing. And also they have their own phase in the turn when every creature from the map has the opportunity to move. And they have an AI, a specific algorithm of priorities moving through the territories, affecting the players in various ways.
Oh, great.
Some of them have a smaller power and affecting you in a way, reducing some things, affecting the status of your board. Some of them attack you. They are really aggressive.
Cool.
You will fight with them very similar in a very similar way that you fight with between players.
Yep.
With some slight differences.
Cool.
You will have like a river, we call it, a river of creature cards.
Oh, yeah.
Somewhere on the table, and they are triggered in a visible way, one after the other.
Yep.
And this gives the opportunity to the players. That's why I was speaking about various layers of the depth of the game.
Yeah.
Because you have to have an eye on many elements.
Oh, that's
when
awesome.
do I start to take that card? what creature will move.
Yeah.
Do I explore now, or do I risk to get that creature moving on my territory,
Cool.
or do I just move somewhere and trigger that move of that creature above there that would move to another player's territory?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. And that comes free in the in every version of the Kickstarter. Oh no. Adrian? Where did we go? Did I lose him? Hello?
Quickly explain features. Do you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes. That's okay.
Okay, so they will spawn on the map.
Yep.
On the board. They will move around, having their own algorithm with some priorities. It's not very complicated, but it gives you another dimension of you have to watch them. What do they do? The players, if the Vikings fight against the creatures and they win,
Yep.
so the Vikings win, then they have a reward in fame also.
Cool.
From those creatures. Each creature has 2 colors.
Yep.
Because and each creature has 2 cards. So and each card triggers a specific color. So they come with 2 creatures each time.
Cool.
Each creature is into 2 pieces, 2 figurines.
Awesome. Okay, good. And that comes free with every Kickstarter edition, but it's not in the Tabletopia edition. Is that correct?
It's not yet here.
Yep.
It's basically it requires to add more elements, and in this phase we didn't even add all the clans, so we'll have slowly to add all these elements. We have to add the missing 4 clans slowly on Tabletopia, and also at one point in time we'll add the creatures too.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think people are going to be really excited to play this. So, if you're going to hang around in the Discord server afterward, for people to be able to ask you any questions about rules, is that right?
Yes, sure. I'm here. I will be very happy to help you around and explaining whatever you missed from this
perfect
long explanation. But I suppose it's helpful.
It's thorough. I appreciate
but
it.
But I'm happy to participate everywhere and answer to the players. Yes,
thank you. Well, thank you for teaching us. So if everyone would like to now join our Tabletopia Discord server, and if you're not already part of it, I popped it into the Twitch chat, and go to the Learn and Play channel, and there we'll start doing some matchmaking. We'll get some people into some 3-player games. You can all play the games together. You can ask Adrian questions if you have any, and have some fun. And then once you're done with that, please go and check out the Kickstarter for Northgard Uncharted Lands. So, Adrian, thank you for joining and teaching us today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Mark. And,
thank you.
You're welcome.
All right,
my pleasure.
We'll see you soon, and see you in the Discord, everybody. Goodbye.
Goodbye.